Chimichanga! Chimichanga! Big booty! Big booty hole! Chimichanga! Big booty hole! Here's your food date. It was Vash. Little Vashington. Okay. Whew. Alrighty then. Hey everybody. What's up, you guys? Hey everybody. What's up everybody? My name is Nicole and this is my TikTok, Real Talk Recovery. I have been sober since July 13th of 2015. I will have 6 years in July and I'm super excited about it. Today we're going to talk about triggers. We're going to talk about your triggers, okay? We're going to talk about your triggers and how your triggers and your recovery is your responsibility. And it's unfair to put that on other people. So I always see a lot of people, they comment on my videos all the time and they say things like, this could trigger somebody. Hey, shift happens. What's up, baby? This could trigger somebody. Do you ever think about how this could affect someone else? It's not my responsibility to censor my content to fit your needs. If you watch my videos and you find me triggering, you need to block me because that would be what's healthy for your sobriety, okay? Sometimes we have to know when to walk away from someone that's not serving us, right? And so if my experience doesn't serve you, that is okay. You're not hurting my feelings at all. Because there's a lot of people whose my experience does serve. So, I hate when I hear people try to say stuff like, you're triggering people or you're going to make somebody relapse. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Okay? The only person who can make you relapse is you. Okay? Relapse happens in our brains long before we ever pick up the drink or the drug. Okay? We're plotting our relapse 2 months in advance. Okay? We're slipping in our recovery way before we ever pick up. Okay? Hey, so beautiful. Hey, JJ. So, you know, when I share my story times, crazy shit I didn't see while I was high on methamphetamine, that's my way of relating to you guys. A lot of us have been through the same things. And honestly, I think it's hilarious what I've been through because now I'm alive to tell the tale. So I've come out on the other side. Would I be sitting here telling you the crazy shit I didn't see while I was high on methamphetamine if I was still high on methamphetamine? Well, hell no. Hell no, I'd be tripping. I'd be thinking the po-po were after me or the FBI or some shit. You know, I wouldn't be sitting up here sharing about what happened and how I went through it and what I'm doing now. Your stories are awesome and make me remember how I never want to go back to that place. Me too. Hi, honey. We support you and I appreciate your efforts to help us. Thank you, Heather. What's up, everyone? Hey, girl. I love your content and giving people knowledge. Keep it up. Hey, Tom. We could write a book. Exactly. Raquel, 6 months, girl. I'm proud of you. I love those brown hearts. Those are so pretty. I'm so proud of you, girl. Keep on keeping on. So we have to take responsibility for our own sobriety, you guys. It is no one else's responsibility to keep us sober or to cater to us, okay? We are all grown-ass adults, just like we were grown-ass adults when we were out there in our active addiction and we made choices. We can make choices today in our sobriety. If someone triggers you and you don't want to watch their content, block that person so you don't have to see their content come up on your FYP. But baby, I'm going to keep on telling my stories, because every time I tell a story, it makes me think of another one. What did you usually do with a bad batch of dope? Charlie tells, I have had bad batches before and try to get rid of it, sell it, try to sell it to somebody that maybe not know that it was bad, or mix some more in it, mix some good with it to make it not so bad. But that's long behind me. I guess I'll get into a story for y'all, because I know a lot of you guys like my stories. So, let me think. When I met my ex-boyfriend LD, it was a crazy ride. I was 21 or 22 years old. Me and my boyfriend Robert had just broken up, and I was pretty devastated that we had broken up, because we had been together for like 5 or 6 years. We had been broken up for about a year, and I remember crying every night, you guys. My friends were taking me out partying. We were going out and drinking. We were going to the clubs. I mean, I was trying my hardest to get over this guy, right? And so when I met LD, I was working at Shoe Carnival. I was the floor supervisor at Shoe Carnival. I was making pretty good money, and I had went to this guy's house named Flash. Now, let me tell you all about Flash. Flash was Lacey's uncle. I went to high school with Lacey. We all grew up together, and they've always lived out on this plot of land out in Piercy, Arkansas. So Lacey was married to Seneca, and Seneca was LD's brother. And so that's how I got wrapped up into their family. So when I met LD, I was over at Flash's house. Flash was like doing little boofs of dope in the shed, nothing serious or anything, just personal use. And so we were all over there getting high. Well, I was sitting in the trailer, and this is a trailer, you guys, where like the fucking floor was like literally about to fall through. I just want you guys to like really understand. Like, I want you to be driving down the street and look over and you see like a trailer house that's all dilapidated, kids fucking toys thrown out all in the yard, a little shed over here, a little white house in the front, right? And that's where the grandma lives. The grandma lives in the white house in the front, and then all the rest of the family lives in these 2 trailers in the shed, okay? And it's just like tweaker generation after generation after generation after generation. So I'm sitting in the house, and like, I don't want to sound rude, but like, I was considered like popular compared to these people that I was at their house. And so when I went into the house and they all saw me and remembered me from high school, they're like, Nicole DeMayo, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, fuck, what do you think I'm doing here? I'm getting high. You know what I mean? And that's how it would always be until people realized, like, I was strung out. Like, I wasn't there to judge them. I wasn't there to look down on them. I was there because I was getting high too. And so I was sitting on the couch, and I had been smoking, smoking a bowl. And LD came out from the back bedroom. Little did I know he had been back there injecting methamphetamine. And he came in and sat beside me. And I was like, what's up, man? We got talking. And I just thought, from the moment I saw him, you guys, he was just so sexy to me. He had dark brown hair with these fucking gorgeous green eyes, a real chiseled jaw, a real distinctive, like, Italian nose. And he was just a good looking guy, and I was like, I had my sights set on him, and that's how I was. Whenever I would use drugs and I was hanging out with a bunch of people, if I saw somebody that I liked, I would set my sights on that person and I would get them. You know what I mean? We weren't going anywhere else. And so I literally tweaked my balls off and wrote up a little business card with my name and my phone number and all this stuff on it and gave it to him. Well, he didn't call me the next day. And I was like, that son of a bitch, Well, he called me the day after the next. And I answered the phone, and he was like, what's up, girl? You want to hang out? And we were fucking literally joined at the hip from that day forward. But this wasn't a good joined at the hip. When he came and we were hanging out, I realized that he was homeless, okay? He had nowhere to live. Now, I didn't have anywhere to live either, but it really wasn't a big deal because I was a girl, and so I would just house hop from house to house, then go back to my parents' house, take a shower, pack some more clothes, and I was out on the street again. Do you know what I'm saying? But for him, it was difficult because he was a man, and you know, you can just stay the night at anybody's house when you're a guy, unless they're like your really good friends. And so I remember us sleeping in my car, y'all. We would sleep in my car, and it was just like, we were so infatuated with each other that we were like sleeping in my car just so we could be with each other. Well, that didn't last very long because it was uncomfortable as fuck. And so we went and got us a 1-bedroom efficiency. Okay. Now, if y'all are familiar with Hot Springs, Arkansas, when you go downtown Hot Springs, there's like a bunch of like old historic buildings, and there's strip clubs, and there's the where they have the natural hot springs that come out and you can go get water. Well, there was this one strip club called the French Quarter. Now, let me tell you about the French Quarter. My friend Sonia and my friend Miranda, they started working there when we graduated high school. And these girls were like my ride or dies. I mean, like I hung out with them every single day. And so when they first started stripping, of course they wanted to bring me into it, you know, because they were like, girl, look at all this money we're making. My friend Sonia paid for herself some titties. I mean, it was like, hello. And so I went in there, and I went in there one night to see what it was all about. And I just remember being like, no, I can't do this. What if one of my dad's friends comes in? What if something like that happens, you know? And so I was like, sorry girls, I love you, but I couldn't do it because I just had so much pride that I didn't want my parents to find me like that, okay? So I said no. But that's where we moved into. We moved into a 1-bedroom efficiency across the street from this strip club, okay? So we moved into the 1-bedroom. Let me tell you what it was like. Listen to me, okay? Listen to me. First of all, it was like $80 a week, I think, to live there. And it was a bedroom with a used mattress on the ground, a little chair, like a little recliner chair, and a little TV that was like this big with the antennas coming out of it, a shower, a shitter, and then a little kitchenette. But when I tell you, I want you just to imagine. I want you to imagine walking into a bedroom where it looks like there's just grime coming out of the walls. I want you to imagine turning the light and seeing roaches scatter everywhere. I want you to imagine closing your eyes at night while you're sleeping there and hearing scratches because there's rats in the walls, and screams from women that are having sex in the next room, or guys that are smoking crack and selling crack. It was just like crazy. It was like scary. It was like the belly of the beast, okay? That's what it was like. And so I had never lived in something like this before. This was my first experience. But because I was high on drugs, you guys, it was like I would make it work. I'm like, you know what? I would make it work. So I got in there and I tried to spruce things up, put some curtains up, get some candles lit, get our bed all made. When I tell you guys, this was a used mattress that God knows who slept on this bed. Okay, there were stains all over it, burn holes, it was bad. But I tried to make it work. So we lived there for 6 months. While we were living there, I got a job working for the state of Arkansas. And let me just tell you guys, I was always a hustler in my active addiction. So when I started working for the state of Arkansas, that hustling mentality didn't stop. And so I was hustling there, doing some illegal, felonious shit that could have got me locked up in the federal penitentiary. But thank God it didn't. And yeah, so I was making a lot of money under the table. I was making a lot of cash, and so we were able to get out of there. But before we got out of there, we had to live there for 6 months and experience, like I said, the scary nights, the police. You would see the blue lights outside the window. You would hear people screaming and yelling and arguing. You would smell crack smoke all through the fucking building, you guys. It reeked. It reeked. One time me and LD were doing the do, and he was on top of me. And I will never forget this because he was on top of me, and then all of a sudden I looked over on his shoulder and there was a roach this big with this little beady tentacles going, hey girl, is it good? It was literally right there, and I flicked it off and we just kept on going. It was like so it was like not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like it was what it was. We were getting high, we lived there, and it is what it is. We made the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? And so, oh girl, it was disgusting. Like literally the roach was looking at me. And I'm telling you guys this because I want you to understand the level of just how bad I allowed my life to get so I could continue getting high. I had money. I was working 2 jobs, but I settled for anything because it was about the drugs. It was about how fast I could get that drug in my body. And this is before I started shooting up, y'all. This is before I started injecting. So you know it got even worse after I started injecting. So anyway, we moved into a little trailer out by my parents' house. My parents helped us find it because my dad came over one night and he walked into the 1-bedroom efficiency and he damn near had a heart attack. He was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? You know, he was like, we got to get you out of here. This is disgusting. My dad was appalled, okay, straight tripping. And so him and my mom did some research and helped us find a brand new little trailer out off Amity Road in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And it was literally 5 minutes down the street from their house, okay? And so we moved into this little trailer and it was a new beginning. You know what I mean? Like we were like, yeah, new beginnings. And I was always trying to like sober up. You know what I mean? Like I would try to get sober and then I would relapse. So I had already been to treatment one time before I met LD. And now I was on a good run with him. But we would like talk to each other and say like, man, we're going to get clean this time. This is getting out of control. We need to make a change. We need to change our lives, right? Well, around this time is when he started to get abusive, and he had never abused me before. He was a violent person who like would raise his voice at me and stuff, but he had never abused me. Now, I'm half Italian and half Mexican, and I got a fucking temper on me, dude. And sometimes I don't respect people's boundaries. And so one night, especially when I'm fucking drunk. And so one night we had been drinking vodka over at one of his sister's friend's house. And this is what we always did. We always hang out with his sister's boyfriend and her and his brother and his wife. And it was like a whole family thing. Like all the brothers and sisters, the aunts and the uncles and the parents were all there. Like trailer park living. And so we were drinking vodka and we had gotten really fucking intoxicated. But we had to drive his sister all the way out to her apartment, which is in town. And we were out in the country. And so I was like, fuck it. I'll drive off fucking vodka. And so we're driving down the street and he keeps fucking with my radio. Like he's turning it up and blasting it. And I'm like, hey man, stop doing that please. Like I'm trying to drive and I'm fucking drunk. And he keeps on doing it and I keep lowering it. He keeps on doing it. I keep lowering it. So all of a sudden I just snapped and I said, bah! And knocked him upside the head, punched him right in the side of the face right here and blacked his eye. He didn't even think twice. He grabbed my steering wheel and threw us into oncoming traffic, and we had a fucking damn near head-on collision. The car didn't hit us right in the middle, but it hit us on my right-hand side of my car. Spun us around, and we ended up on the other side of the road. And he got out and took off running. Him, his sister, everybody, they all took off running. Leave my ass there, right? I got full coverage insurance, right? I got full coverage insurance. So... and that was the thing. Like I had full coverage insurance. I worked 2 jobs. My parents knew that I made money, you guys. And I was from a good family. I had responsibilities and I was raised right. And I was hanging out with people who had nothing to lose, who had no responsibilities, who were not raised right. Okay. Like seriously. And so they left me there. I walked up to the other car and I gave them my insurance information and then they drove off because I think they were fucked up too. And so I left a note on my car and I took off walking. And I walked up to his sister's apartment and I was pissed. I was like, y'all left me. What the fuck? You know? And they didn't have, like I said, they had nothing to lose. And I was just like, I should have learned right then that they didn't give a fuck about me. Do you know what I'm saying? But I didn't. And the police came looking for me the next day. They found me at their apartment and I got charged with a hit and run. Luckily, they knew my mom and dad. They knew me from high school, and they dropped the hit and run charges, and I just had to, I had to pay for my insurance and everything, took care of it, and it ended up all working itself out, and I got my car back, and I got it fixed. But that was like the big red sign that was like, hey, Nicole, there's a bunch of red signs, but that's the one that I really, really realized, you know what I mean? How do you remember all this under the influence? Oh, Alice, honey, I got stories for days. Honey. The only stuff that I don't remember is when I took a bunch of Xanax bars and would black out. But I remember a lot of stuff. Shoot, how could I not? So this was embedded in my brain, okay? Like, I was just drunk off vodka. But when I was on Xanax, I would forget a lot of shit. But then what will happen is somebody will say something, and it will bring it back up in my memory, and I'll remember it. Because I try to block a lot of the shit out. Well, we got my car fixed, and life went on. Life went on. I helped him find a job. I helped him buy a car, a little 1997 Ford Probe. It was maroon. I'll never forget it, y'all, because I did everything. I put my credit on the line. I had good credit. I had credit cards. I had a good job. I was doing the damn thing, right? Even though I was on dope, y'all, I was still at a place in my addiction where I was managing and I was working my jobs and shit. And even when I got out of control in my addiction, I still somehow held a job. I held a job all the way up till 2012. Then I lost that job, and that's when I went real down deep. So I'm living with him, and I ended up cheating on him, okay? I was with this guy named Jason, he lived across the street from my mom's work. And I knew Jason from high school because when we were young, like when we were 17 or 18, we had hooked up. And so I always had like a kind of a crush on him. Now let me tell you about Jason. Jason was real good looking. He had tan skin, blue eyes, long blonde hair, just a looker, right? And so I had met up with him somehow. He was selling methadone wafers. That's what it was. And I was buying those 40 milligram methadone wafers from him. What's up, Big Papa? There's my husband, Mr. Papa 85. If y'all don't follow him, he's fucking hilarious. Follow him, okay? So I started hooking up with Jason. And me and Jason ended up getting pregnant. And like I said, I was abusing methadone, I was doing methamphetamines, I was drinking, I was smoking weed. I was really in a bad place. And so when I found out that I was pregnant, I will never forget it. I was at my job at the revenue office, and the ladies I worked with were like, hey, Nicole, we think you're pregnant. You're glowing. Just out of nowhere. And they knew me really well. Like, I was the youngest. They all wanted to take care of me. They treated me like I was their daughter, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they had already went out and bought pregnancy tests. And they were like, oh, well, we're going to find out because you're going to take a test. And so here I am in the middle of the revenue office, peeing on a stick in the bathroom. And lo and behold, it's positive. I think I was 24 when this happened. And I literally lost my shit because I knew that I had cheated on my boyfriend, and I knew that it wasn't my boyfriend's. I knew. And so I went home and I sat and I thought and I called my sister. And this is where I made the choice to have an abortion. And I am not proud of that at all, but I'm just going to tell y'all like it is. So I planned the abortion, and me and my mom went up to the abortion clinic. Just so y'all know, this damn fucking abortion clinic here in Little Rock, Arkansas is behind a meat butcher shop. So we pull up to the fucking abortion clinic, and there are people out there picketing. You're killing your baby. You're going to go to hell for this. I mean, just like fucking craziness, right? And I'm like walking in. And basically what they did is they gave me some Valium, and they did the thing. They did it. I didn't get put to sleep or anything, and then I left and I came home and they gave me some hydros. And I had my hydros, and I went home to my boyfriend and gave him some hydros to appease him, and then we never talked about it. I never told him what happened. He never asked me what happened. I just told him I had to go to the doctor for a routine womanly checkup. You know what I'm saying? And I carried that guilt with me through my addiction. Like, I can remember thinking about how if I had had the baby, would I have gotten sober? Would my life have changed, you know? Shortly after that, he started beating the shit out of me. like beating the dog shit, punching me in the face, throwing fucking shit at me, cracked my head open, had to get 10 stitches. He didn't care about me. He was using me to get where he needed to go. And that's what he had done with a lot of women before me. And those women tried to warn me. He beat me so bad I was in the hospital with a concussion. I couldn't stand up. Okay, it was bad. And so he continued beating me for about 2.5 years. And then finally, he left and went and cheated on me. And he didn't come back. And that's how I left. Because if he hadn't left me, I would have never left him. And I would continue to get the shit beat out of me. And I would continue to just take it and stay there and live in fucking just a horrible situation. And so he left and I left. And that's when I started shooting up. When I left him, I moved in with my friend Nichole. And I moved in with her and her boyfriend Jeremy. And I started tripping balls on ecstasy. Now this was right about 2002, 2003, 2004, and ecstasy pills were big down here. Everybody was doing the like double stack Supermans, double stack red apples, and I would buy like 20 of these fucking ecstasy pills and drop like 3 at a time. I was addicted to rolling. I was rolling at my jobs. I was going to work and rolling balls. I fell asleep one time in the bathroom in Olive Garden because I had been rolling all night the night before and all day today. And then I went into work and I was so tired I fell asleep on the bathroom floor. So when all that went down and I started kind of like losing my shit, I ended up losing my job. I ended up getting fired from the Department of Finance and Administration working for the state. And when I lost my job, you guys, that's when I lost my total shit. Because at least I could hold it together. At least I still had some money coming in. You know, I was able to pay my car payment, my insurance, my credit card bills. I had hella credit card bills because I would go to the store and buy my dope man a fucking screen TV. Like I was in it. You know what I'm saying? And so when I lost that job at the revenue office, I lost my shit. And I went off the deep end and I started shooting dope. I started shooting methamphetamine. I found me another job working the front desk at the Days Inn, okay? This little fucking tweaker hotel here in Hot Springs. And I was working there. I was renting rooms out to my dope cooks. I was fucking chilling, living my best life high on methamphetamine. And once I started injecting, that's when, like, it wasn't even 6 months after that, and I was busted for possession of a controlled substance, a Class C felony. Try to help them get help, you know. If they're addicted to heroin, ask them if they want to get help. If they don't want to get help, all you can do is encourage them and empower them to make the right decision. But it really has to be that person's choice, you know. How did I get caught? Here we go. So my drug of choice was meth and intravenous Roxy's and Xanax. So I was a poly drug addict. So I had just left the dope man's house, me and my friend Quincy, pacemaker Quincy. I've talked about this story before. He was a black guy that had a pacemaker, one of the only black guys that I ever knew that was shooting meth. And so me and him had left and picked up some dope from Nate's house, this trailer where we were cooking dope at. And we drove into town to drop off some dope at these people's house who were buying dope from us. Well, inside that house was these 2 girls called the Terry twins. These bitches are known confidential informants in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so when we left, they called and they set us up. And when we drove out of the driveway, we didn't even get like a half a mile down the road. And my car was surrounded by marked vehicles, unmarked vehicles, canine cops, everything, y'all. And they threw us on the ground. They literally ripped my car doors open while it was rolling, jumped in, threw us both out, and we were spread eagle on the ground. I had meth in my purse. He had meth in his sock. So we both took our charges. I took the charge for what was on me. He took the charge for what was on him. And they offered him 20 years because he was a habitual offender. And it was my first time to ever be in any kind of trouble. So they offered me 6 years with 3 years suspended. And so instead of going to prison for 3 years, I took probation. Now, that was not a good idea. I should have just went to fucking prison and did the time, real talk, because I ended up going to prison anyway. I got put on probation and I kept failing my drug tests, and they sent me to treatment once trying to help me, and I came out and relapsed, and that's when they sent me to prison. If I had been ready to get sober, I would have been fine on probation, but I wasn't even ready to get sober. If you're a person who's like ready to change your life, you can get on probation, pay out your fines and get all that shit done, and then get off probation quickly. But I was just in the middle of my active addiction. And the way the state of Arkansas has it is they have you set with a public defender, because I didn't have no money to get a good lawyer. And so I had a public defender who, he wasn't advising me on shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was I was just doing what I knew everybody else told me, to not take drug court and to get probation. So that way I could stay out of prison. If I could go back now, I would have went ahead and just did the prison time straight up. Hey, Queenie. I'm your favorite person in the whole fucking wide world. I'm just telling y'all the truth, man. Like, I should have just took the fucking prison time and did it, because prison was nothing but a thing. Okay, I went in there, I got to know all the girls, and I was fine. I was also an adult when I went to prison, and I didn't start shit with anybody. I wasn't a fucking problem. I didn't fight bitches. Like, I was just cool. I was just chilling, man. I hear a lot of other prison YouTubers that share their experience, and they're like fighting girls and shit. Like, I didn't have nothing to prove to anybody. I was there to do my time and get the fuck up out of there, you know? And so people respected me, and I respected them. How did I get through all this? Honestly, I got through all of it because I'm a resilient motherfucker. I'm not an idiot, you know? I'm super smart. I was there for a year and in county jail for 90 days. I'm super smart, y'all. I handle my business. I don't ever bother anybody. And on real talk, if anybody ever is talking shit about me or they're bothered by me, it's because of something that's wrong with them. Because I don't give anybody any problems. I don't give anybody any problems. Oh, actually, it's hard. Listen to me, you guys. Like, with sponsors and stuff, it's hard to find a sponsor right now because all the meetings and shit are not face-to-face. But you guys, join a recovery support group. We have all that stuff in my bio, and join our Facebook group. We have a lot of people in there that could sponsor you and help out. I can't sponsor anybody right now, y'all, because I have so much on my plate, hey Nicole, that I would be doing you a disservice if I started to sponsor you, because I wouldn't be able to give you the attention that you truly need and that a sponsor needs to give a person. It's important for you to be able to get to know your sponsor and build a relationship and like really have them to talk to them whenever you need them. And I'm doing my best if I can talk to all the people that I have to talk to for my job. So I can't do that. Especially, what happens is I end up helping people and I end up making promises I can't keep. And I have learned that the hard way, you guys. Yeah, you can go to my Facebook group, you guys. It's in my bio, and then you'll click the link tree, and it'll take you to you'll see the Facebook button. Click all those buttons until you find the Facebook button. And I agree, Queenie. I agree. I think you should find somebody in your area, because if you do, then y'all can go and do stuff together and get coffee together. And it's just cool. Like, when I first started working the steps with my sponsor, her name was Kathy, the first woman I ever really worked the steps with besides Robin. I worked the steps with Robin too. But Kathy was here in Little Rock, and I got to go to her house and we would drink coffee. Then I had Jayne, and Jayne was old school. She had like 31 years sober, and I would go to her house and we would hang out. So we had a good time. Really? You're 14-year-old? That's because she knows I'm cool. But I'll tell you guys, like, it has been such a journey for me these last 5 years, finding sobriety and finding a sober support network that works for me. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm on Suboxone. I'm on less than 2 milligrams of Suboxone because I've been tapering. But I was one of the first people in the recovery community to start sharing my story and talking about being in recovery and being on Suboxone. Back in 2016 is when I started telling my story. And when I did, people made fun of me. Other people in recovery made fun of me. Other people in recovery told me I had no business helping other people or telling my story because I'm on Suboxone. And so what those people did in 2016 was fuel the fire inside of me to keep going and tell my story to anybody that would listen. And I've been telling my story for 5 years, and I'm telling you what, people might say some stupid shit about me, but you cannot deny the fact that I have worked my ass off for the last 5 years and that I have helped hundreds of people, thousands maybe, with my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, now my TikTok. I just started this TikTok in October, but I have been on YouTube for 5 years, and I have been totally building my channel there. We just hit 7K, and that was huge for me, huge. And so a lot of people, they try to talk shit. Oh, let me tell you something that happened recently. I don't know if he's in here. Shane, if you're in here, I'm going to talk about what happened recently. So there's this guy named Shane, and me and him met on YouTube. We met on YouTube back in 2017 when I first started my channel. And he was able to taper off methadone, and he always gave me shit for being on Suboxone still. Not real bad, but he was judging me. He would say things like, you'll never know what it's like to really be sober until you get off of Suboxone, right? And him and a bunch of other people in the YouTube recovery community, they didn't like me because I spoke my truth and I didn't let anyone else tell me any different. I'm very fucking assertive and I stand my ground. Well, just recently he had a relapse, and he came and found my channel, and he said, I want to apologize to you for judging you. And you don't understand how much that meant to me, because so many people judged me for being on Suboxone, and he's like, Suboxone's saving my life now, and I'm so sorry that I ever judged you. And I'll just tell you guys this. God has a funny way of humbling people. And so if somebody's giving you hell about being on Suboxone, telling you you're not sober, telling you you're not in recovery, just give it time, baby. Because God has a funny way of humbling folks. And every person who has ever given me shit about being on Suboxone, damn near every person, has come back and said, I'm sorry, you were right. And I'm just like sitting back, hey. And I don't want to be like an asshole about it, but damn, it feels good. It feels good to have my sobriety validated for once. For other people to say, you know what, you were right. You know what I mean? And yeah. And I, just 6 months ago, somebody here in Arkansas, this guy that I looked up to here in the recovery community that runs all the drug programs here in Arkansas, I was applying to be a peer support specialist, and they denied me because of my medication. And so I reached out to him asking him if he could help me fix it and help me to get my certification. And that's when he told me that I'm not in recovery. I'm not sober. And that I won't be until I'm off Suboxone. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And this is somebody who preaches to support all pathways, who is open-minded and all that, right? No, that's not being open-minded. That's not supporting all pathways. And so I'm telling you, now God will deal with him. God will deal with him. And eventually it might take 5 years. It might take 10 years. But he'll come back and he'll make an amends to me, and he'll say, you know what? I was wrong for that. I just sit here and wait for it to happen, baby. You know what I mean? But in all seriousness, though, I was so happy that Shane came and talked to me, because I really like him, and it hurt my feelings, And so I'm glad that we were able to come together. And so now he's going to be on my channel Friday night to share his story. And I'm super excited about it, you guys, because he is going to share with everybody the judgment that he's experienced at NA and all the stuff. So anyways, I got to get off here because Dr. B is going live. Will you guys come? Do y'all want to come to the live stream? It's on Dr. B's channel. Let me put his channel in the comment section. Excuse me. Dr. B Addiction Recovery on YouTube. Dr. B Addiction Recovery on YouTube, you guys. And I'm going to go do that. I have to go do that with him, make sure he can get on and everything. And then I'll go live later on this evening. But, you know, a lot of people are on Suboxone and it's saving their lives. Don't judge us because somebody abused it, because we're doing the right thing today. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll see y'all over on Dr. B's channel. Come on over. I love y'all.